Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Closure Show. As always, Scott Carson here, excited to be with you here. It's a Friday, and it's a Friday after the 4th of July. It's kind of a ghost town here in the offices, as I'm sure it is for a lot of business areas. But today I thought we'd do something a little bit fun on the show. Somewhere yesterday, I got the 10 crack commandments in my head. Somebody was playing it in a car as they're driving by, and, Notorious B.I.G. kind of stuck in my ears. And overnight, I had the idea to do the 10 note commandments. Instead of the 10 crack commandments, do the 10 note commandments. So I thought we started all off and have a little bit of good fun there for those out there that are watching on live. If you're watching on LinkedIn, great. If you're watching on Instagram Live, hey, glad to have you as well. If you're listening into this, trust me, you're going to have fun. You probably want to grab a pen and paper, write these 10 note commandments down so that you're rock and rolling. Good morning to the folks that are joining us in. Good morning, Landon from Houston as well. So just so you guys know, next week I'm excited to be speaking in Houston at the Quest IRA $1 trillion Mixer Tuesday night from 6 to 9. So come on out to that to join us. But lo and behold, there are a lot of different rules that you have to keep in mind when you're buying notes. Commandments there's a lot of them, but these are probably the 10 biggest ones you need to keep in mind when you're looking at buying distressed debt, distressed notes. Definitely important. And it's a little bit different for the first versus seconds. I focused on the first side. So that's what we're going to talk about basically. So number 10 commandment. All right. Number 10 commandment is really, if you're going to be a note investor, you've got to look outside your own market. That's one of the most important things I could probably tell you guys with that is you're going to see deals, but most of them a lot of times are not going to be in your backyard. So look outside your own market for number 10. Look, I live in Austin, Texas. I haven't bought anything here in years because the fact is it's just overpriced. It's a crazy market, very little inventory and stuff like that because we've got a very booming market. So that's the big thing. Not saying you can't find stuff in Dallas, not saying you can't find stuff in Houston. We just don't see that much stuff in Austin. Now, ideally, if you live in like a state like Ohio or Michigan or Indiana or Illinois, you may have enough inventory in your backyard to be able to find that. But if you're in California, Arizona, even Florida none of these days, you don't see that much stuff. You probably got to look to buy in a couple different states. So as a new note investor, look to buy outside your own backyard. If you're just looking to stick in your immediate backyard, your immediate city, you're probably going to go broke in the long run. Okay. Very, very important thing there with that. That's number 10. You keep that in mind initially. If that's not something you want to do, then you know what? The note business is not for you. Number 9 is a very important one. And if you start buying notes, do not do this. Make sure you don't self-service your own loans. That's number 9. Those that self-service always end up screwing crap up. All right. What I mean by self-servicing, you're the ones mailing out checks. You're the one mailing out statements each month. You're taking all the servicing phone calls. You try to save money because, I'm in a state where I don't have to be a licensed servicer to collect debt. And there are some states like that. Texas is one of those states. You don't have to be a licensed servicer. That doesn't mean it's a good thing to do. The service and the cost of what like Madison Management and other loan servicers do for you, it's the whole CYA. That's your fee every month to cover your assets. Okay, very important. Don't self-service. One of the big things we find people self-servicing, and we're like, listen, you're going to get in trouble, and it's going to be a bad thing. You're going to end up doing something stupid that you shouldn't do, and an attorney is going to own your ass on behalf of the bar. So don't do number 9. Okay, number 8 kind of falls in line with number 9. Okay, It comes down to hiring professionals, hiring attorneys to start foreclosure. That's one of the most important things I can tell you guys. Go ahead and start it. That doesn't mean you can't stop it or suspend it. If the bar reaches out to you, hey, go ahead and stop it, delay it for a little while, give them an opportunity if they're willing to do a trial payment plan or a loan modification or cash for keys, or if they're the family, the deceased that didn't get notices, that's fine. It's okay to suspend it, but you always hire attorneys to start the foreclosure or start the eviction or the cancellation of contracts. Do not sit around and wait for that to happen. Get it started. Yes, it's a process to foreclose in some states where it takes a year, so you might as well start it. You can always suspend it, delay it, and then pick it back up at a later date. So that's one of the most important things. People wait around, I don't want to give the attorney $1,500. Look, just go ahead and do it. Trust me, especially if you're buying in a couple states, that's an important thing to do. Now, oftentimes people are like, well, I don't know if I can do that. I don't necessarily want to hire attorneys just because I think I'm better at doing the workouts. Well, see number 9 and understand that your value is more than a $7.50, $15, $20 an hour person is. Okay. So that was number 8. Number 7 is one of the biggest things to help you scale. All right. Use other people's money. All right. You've often heard in the 10 crack commandments, number 1 is don't get high in your own supply. Well, don't fund with your own, your own supply as well. Use other people's money. There's so much private capital out there that's available to you in IRAs, money just sitting in CDs making less than 1% or fraction of 1%. You just got to get the word out on what you're doing to help people understand the opportunities that you're offering up. Now, I see some people loving this. Casey Lang from Colorado. There you go, loving it. I see people watching. This is great. If you're loving this, give me some love on Facebook, liking it, just sharing it. If you've got questions about specific these commandments, feel free to ask those as well. We're always glad to help answer any things for you. But that's another thing. Use other people's money is the 7th rule when it comes to the 10 crack and the 10 note commandments. Number 6 is something I'm well known for. I think everybody is getting better at. Our students do a great job of this. And it's all about marketing. Marketing drives everything. All right. And what I mean by this, I'm not talking about marketing the old way that most real estate investors are used to doing it. And what does that mean? Well, most people are used to the whole yellow letters or the postcards or the door knocking or dropping out letters to the foreclosure list. And that's not the smartest thing to do. All right. We don't do that in the note business. We just don't do that. It doesn't make sense for us to do it because it's not an effective use of our time. If you learn how to market properly to asset managers and for private capital, this becomes a very easy business because, A, if you learn how to market directly to banks or hedge funds, they'll be sending you lists on a weekly basis. All right. You don't have to worry about complaining or just going to websites where the low-hanging fruit is at. Along with marketing, hey, you're also reaching out online. You're also reaching out to your database. You're building your own tribe. Literally, marketing is the link that drives everything in the note business. Okay. Now, if you are wealthy off or privately funded yourself, hey, congratulations, good for you. You're the anomaly. All right. Most people aren't that way. Most people are coming from a job that they hate. They're just over broke and they need to learn how to do things. And the one thing that makes us all equal is our ability to market. In today's economy, today's society, it's so easy to market. I mean, for a few bucks, you can have a MailChimp account. You can pull lists. You can reach out to people. You can go to your networking events, pull databases. Heck, you can jump on Facebook and start making an audience for free. So marketing drives everything. And the minute you start to realize that it's marketing that drives everything, not the real estate aspect of this thing, your business becomes a whole lot easier and you'll understand it and be a whole lot more successful because if you have a marketing first attitude versus a real estate first attitude, you'll be a lot more successful. Now, that's not saying real estate is not the most important thing. Sorry, it's not important. You have to focus on your assets. Again, you can't always be marketing because eventually marketing, you don't have time to take care of the leads you're getting. You've got to have a good balance of that, but also that's the great thing about marketing, especially marketing smart, is you can adjust down, you can turn it up by using the electronic tools that are available to you. Versus if you're just sending out postcards, you got to keep constantly dropping 1,000, 5,000 postcards a week or a month to ensure that you're getting phone calls or hire an outbound sales team. That's not what you want to do in the note business. I mean, you can. And we've got some students that have evolved from the fix and flip of the private lending side. They're using their people to reach out to asset managers, which is great, but that's still marketing. Marketing comes first. That drives the whole business, okay? Number 5. This is an important thing, okay? No files equals no funding, right? This is hard for a lot of people to understand. And this all comes down to cover your ass. CYA, cover your assets. If you are making bids and you're making offers, you don't send money until you actually have at least the soft copies of the collateral in your hands, okay? That's important. You literally don't fund until you actually have the collateral files in your hand. I'm talking about the electronic. You won't have the physical ones yet, okay? But you will. The beautiful thing is that way you make sure you have something. There's been too many people out there taking advantage of, or I'm gonna wire, and the seller or the hedge funds will send you the link to the collateral files after you fund. You want to make sure to review those collateral files before you fund. So if you don't get no files, that's no funding. Okay, send the paper, we no pay. Right, and that's the most. And look, guys and gals, that doesn't mean that collateral you don't. That doesn't mean you get it today and you fund immediately in the next minutes. No, you got to have time to look at that collateral. You have time to review the collateral files, making sure there's stuff there. All right, making sure that the actual full files are there. There's not an empty file folder. Okay. That doesn't mean when you get the collateral files, the hard files, that stuff won't be missing. Happens all the time. As files get sold, stuff gets scanned, stuff doesn't get scanned, stuff doesn't make it into the file folders. It is just a natural bit of the business, but there's most everything can be corrected. You just got to make sure that there's still a file to begin with. If the file is missing, it becomes really, really hard to collect on that debt, on that note aspect of it. So that's why number 5 is really where it's at. No files, no funding. Okay. Number 4. Number 4 is an important thing as well. One of the major ones. Number 4 is always check title. Pull ONIs. All right. That's one of the most important things you can do to ensure your investment is good, to protect your investment or your investors' money, is to pull ONI reports. What is ONI? Ownership and encumbrance report. Now, this is not a full title report. It's cheaper than a full title report. You don't need to know the whole title of the property going back to when it was created or built. Okay? You don't need that. What you need to know is basically the last 2 owners of that asset, especially if you're buying bank-owned or bank-originated or institution-originated paper. Okay? Because at some point, title had to be pretty clear for the bank to make the original loan. Okay? So you just need to do it back. Usually 2 lender pool is usually what will work. ONI is usually going to run you about $85. Full title report will be like 125 or more, depending on how remote the area is. Okay. If it takes a long time to pull title, it's probably a good idea not to buy that asset as well. Okay. If it's some small rural county that it takes forever to get title report pulled or ONI report pulled, it's probably best to just kind of kill it. All right. But that's number 4. Always check title and pull ONEs is one of the important aspects to keeping your business. Okay. Number 3. Number 3 it's a simple thing. I'm going to put this in bold letters here for those that are watching. You want to always check taxes, and this means call. All right. Yes, you can jump online and check taxes owed. That's not too hard to do. Always get online, check it, like Netra Online or going to the county taxing office to check what's owed. Sometimes you've got to pay a little fee, but it's always best, especially on the front end, to pick up the phone and call. Find out if there's a tax sale. Find out if the taxes were ever sold, especially if the borrower's name does not match up with the loan docs, okay, or what's on the spreadsheet for you. That's one of the most important red flags. If the borrower's name is John Smith on the loan paperwork you got, and it shows that the county, Stephen Johnson or something else, yeah, it's a big red flag. You got to double check it. Call, make sure there's not a tax sale or pending tax sale. Make sure that if there is, is there a redemption period or is there tax overages? By calling and taking that one extra step, you can often find overages we talked about before, or realize, this went to tax sale. It's not worth me spending any more time on this asset. Let me go ahead and kill this one so I'm not wasting time or energy going forward. All right. That was number 3. Number 2 is kind of a no-brainer, but unfortunately, I only wish everybody understood this. Know your values. Actually, I'm going to say this, know your property values. Okay. This is important. Know your property values. Because that's the one biggest thing that will always secure your investment for the most part right off the bat. Hey, house is actually really worth 100. I'm picking this note up for 50. Great. Loan is 120, whatever. Know your property values. It's a very, very important aspect of things. Look, I'm not just talking Zillow and Trulia. Yes, those will work when you're doing your initial front-end due diligence. But before you fund, you better make sure you've got a true value of what we're talking about. And the really only way to get true value of a property is to have a realtor pull a desktop CMA and take a look at it. All right. Hire professionals to do it. Let them do their job. They often will know neighborhoods and know values and know, yes, that's a good area. Oh, no, that's a bad area. Beware. Buyer beware. Okay. You got to have your foot soldiers working for you, and realtors are on the front lines every day. And that's what you have to keep in mind. Talk to those people, make it important to deal with them, build relationships with realtors and markets, and they'll help you know your property values much faster and much more accurate than a BPO or a desktop CMA will do. And it's also, they will often sometimes provide you with great information that you can use going back to the hedge fund or the bank. Okay. Now, number one is a direct correspondence to number two. All right. Always put eyes on an asset. All right. What's this mean? Always has somebody go by the actual asset and take pictures of the property. Make sure it's still there. Okay. Make sure it's the right address. This is an important thing. Sometimes you won't always be able to get a realtor to go out and do that, but you always should have somebody to put eyes on an asset. It's important to do that. Now, obviously, you're buying in bulk. A lot of times you may not be able to get all of them, but secure the majority of your pool by putting eyes on the asset. Obviously, if you jump online and see photos that are in the last couple months on Zillow, hey, great, it's there. Okay, that's not so bad. But if it's beyond 90 days on a Zillow photo, you better get somebody to drive by and take photos of it. And then that's not so hard. You can jump on Craigslist and offer up somebody $50 to drive by, take some photos, and send it to you. That's an important thing. So important. One of the most important things you do if you're going to buy in an area, hey, you know what? Jump on a plane, fly Southwest, fly into an area, spend a day or two driving around looking at some assets, especially if you're buying in one or two particular states. So that's the important thing. 10 note commandments. Let's do a quick little recap. All right. 10, look outside your backyard. Okay. Look to buy in other markets. 9, don't self-service. Use professionals like Madison Management to help you servicing. 8, hire attorneys. Get that process started. Hire a special servicer. Hire professionals to help you keep the heat to the borrowers you rock and roll them. Okay. Number 7, use other people's money. Okay. Go out to the Quest IRA events. Go out and network at your local self-directed IRA companies because they'll often have great people there that have money. They're looking to invest. All right. And you can do offer some great opportunities. Okay. 6, marketing drives everything. Learn to market. It makes this business a whole lot easier. Yes, I know people get so excited about going online looking at property, but if it comes to a standstill, like, oh, I don't know what to do next. What do I do now? What do I say? How do I talk to people? So learn marketing. Okay. The minute I learned marketing, my business exploded exponentially. Okay. Number 5, no files, no funding. Always been sure that you get a soft copy of the collateral file before you fund. All right. This is a requirement. You don't fund until you get copies of the collateral file, whether it's a 1 asset or 100 assets. Okay. Now, if you got 1 asset, you're buying a one-off, yes, get the collateral files. It doesn't take long to review a collateral file per asset. 10 minutes, 15, not too hard, difficult. If you're going to read it from start to finish, then you better require it beforehand. Okay. 4, check title. Always order O&E reports, ownership and coverage reports. And our favorite is Pro Title USA. Alex Godofsky, Pro Title USA, does an amazing job with his business and with note investors all across the country. Okay. Number 3, one of the most important things you can do, where a lot of people goof up on, they don't check taxes properly. Jump online, check what's owed, but then pick up the phone and make a phone call to the tax office to find out exactly what's owed, if there's been a tax sale, any loan payment plan. If they had gone tax sale, is a redemption period, any overages out there. There's a lot of opportunity to make sure you're doing a good deal versus a bad deal. Number 2, know your values. Know what the asset is actually worth. I always find out when I talk to people and they're like, oh, it's somewhere between 40 and 80 grand. I'm like, that's not knowing your values. It's a whole difference to it. What's online value say? Have you had a realtor drive by? Have you jumped on Note Pros to pull an online valuation? Or have you talked to a realtor to drive by? Or anything else to help you out with that. Have you run a PRP report? Have you, the best way to know values is just to pull off the MLS and pull comps. What's sold in the last 90 days, your pendings, your solds, and your actives. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind, if it's in a distressed market, a 30-day quick sale price is different than a traditional 90-day listing. A 30-day quick sale price is going to be a lot cheaper than what a 90-day sale price is. And in some markets, everything is moving so fast, so it doesn't really matter. But in stuff where the market's dragging a little bit, there's a glutton of inventory, expect that 90-day price. Try to get it bid to where the 30-day makes sense for you, but I guarantee a lot of times the asset managers are going to look at the 90-day price, and that's going to be their value. They're not going to bid it off a 30-day. Okay? Number one, always put eyes on an asset, whether you're hiring somebody, a photographer, your cousin, getting a bar, or something, not the bar, but get somebody nearby to go by and take photos of the assets. That's an important thing to keep in mind. So questions, comments, concerns from anybody out there? Laura Blunk says, yes, I had a bid in a house that burned out. Realtor sent photos. That's worth paying $50 to $100 to save you for making a big investment mistake there, Laura Blunk, right? That's awesome. Glad to hear it. Void the mistakes because you put eyes on the asset. Eyes on the prize, everybody. Eyes on the prize. Anything that didn't come here, I could have thrown in here, always buy owner occupied. Yeah, that would have been number 11. I like buying owner occupied because the fact is you've got more exit strategies, and if it's occupied, you're probably going to have the air conditioning and the AC, or the air conditioning and the power, power cords, electrical cords, their copper goblins haven't been stolen. That's just some great things to keep in mind. That would have been number 11 for the most part. But, there's a lot of moving parts to the note business. Okay. Lots of moving parts, lots of nuts and bolts. These are the best 10 or 11 that I could tell you that I think are the most important for you. This is just a start. To get more information or really kind of understand things a little better, you're always welcome. You might want to check out our upcoming virtual note buying workshop taking place in actually a couple weeks, July 20th through the 22nd. Just go to weclosenotes.com to get signed up for it there as well. So any questions, comments? I love to see we have quite a few people watching. I appreciate everybody giving a thumbs up. Phyllis, thanks for the thumbs up. Good stuff. Tom, Casey, Landon, Laura, good stuff out there, everybody. But that's what I got for you today. That is what we've got for you today. The 10 note commandments for you guys. Like I said, these are important. Write them down, learn them. These should be on your checklist that you're checking on a deal by deal basis. It's important. It'll cover your ass. If you break one of these rules, it's only going to hurt you in the long run. It's only going to hurt you in the long run if you don't follow these commandments. Otherwise, go out and make something happen, guys. Hopefully it was a little fun for you. The 10 note commandments. My shout out to the RIP Notorious Biggie Smalls. You can call me Biggie Notes. Other than that, guys, have a great day. We'll see you all at the top. Bye. Thanks for being here.